We didn't really film any of this yesterday, but basically when we were motoring, I started to smell this smell, and it was like an electrical smell. I don't like to smell fire of any kind on a sailboat, and yeah, we were smelling some electrical here at the helm. So I raced down below thinking it's the new lithium install.
Oh, yeah.
The wiring harness has fried itself. I'm not a Sparky, but I think what happened is the wiring harnesses is routed around the engine, the back of the engine. So this is the back of the engine, and this wiring harness was basically just laying here. Over here, right here, is the negative ground. This is the ground wire coming into it here. So if you have a positive wire, such as this red one, or this red one, that chafes right here, you're gonna get a short from there to there. You can kind of see, like, this is the source of it right here. This is where it chafed, right here on this edge. It didn't have the plastic sleeving over top of it, so it just chafed there, and should have been fused, but it wasn't. So that's probably the cause of it. It got so hot you can actually see that it melted the plastic sheathing. This is good sheathing, but it got so hot that it actually melted this sheathing right here. And yeah, if you look inside that wire, it's all melted. All the red wires in this wiring harness have completely melted. Even inside the connectors it's melted. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to make a new wiring harness. The other problem is this is all the wire I have. This little spool. I have no more wire, so.
With all that stuff down there, that's all the wire you have? Willa, tell your dad. Dad! Is that all you got, man?
Hey, the starboard engine is working this time. Now it's the port engine that's fried itself. Oh yeah!
I'm Ben.
I can't suck it in anymore and pretend it's not there.
That's Ashley. And that's our floating home, Nahoa. We recently added another crew member. She goes by the name of Willa. After having sailed over halfway around the world, we are getting ready for the second half of our circumnavigation, which will take us across the Indian Ocean and around the bottom of Africa. But right now, we find ourselves in Thailand, where we've just finished a massive refit of our boat, and we're preparing for another addition to the crew.
This is, by the way, aloe vera gel. It works great for ultrasound gel.
It's been interesting in Thailand. At home in Canada, at every doctor's appointment, you go once a month to the doctor in the first bit, and then you start going a little bit more at the end. And they do like 2 or 3 ultrasounds. Well, I don't know. I've had quite a few problems throughout this pregnancy, but we've also had, every time we go into the doctor, they don't bother with a Doppler. They just put the ultrasound on you and check the heartbeat that way. Check the baby, check the heartbeat, and you see your OBGYN every time. I don't know, I think every country has different system, and of course if you have private versus public healthcare, I don't know, it's probably quite a bit different. But private healthcare in Thailand, we pay about 80 bucks a visit. It's good. It feels good to be able to get access to healthcare here in Thailand, and private healthcare that is good.
Are you alive or dead?
I'm alive.
Oh, you blinked.
I thought you were taking a video.
You blinked.
I mean, on camera.
Oh my goodness, I thought you just died. So this is a ultrasound room here in Thailand in a private hospital. You got the big screen up there, flat screen TV. Whole family can come in and see exactly what the doctor's seeing. And they explain it to you as they go through it. Totally different than Canada, where it has to go to the doctor or the radiologist, and then it has to be interpreted, and then they might tell you something, or they might give you another test, or they kind of like it here for that reason. But it does cost money. Whereas in Canada, it's all free. So you can't really complain.
Canada's great, and we're actually purposely going back to Canada to have baby number 2, because if anything should go wrong later in pregnancy, I'd rather be home and have healthcare that I know and I'm used to, and that I don't have to worry about paying for NICU stays.
Although it may seem risky to sail around the world, we're actually quite risk averse and cover our exposure most everywhere. In 6 years of travel, we've never had a serious medical incident, never had to see a doctor, never set foot in a hospital until now. Probably the biggest hurdle so far has been a bit of a language barrier.
Now it's only 6 weeks.
6 weeks.
Maybe it's very approximate. By ultrasound is very detailed. If you calculate,
Calculate the age.
yeah, the age.
Yeah.
Well, what did you catch? Are you fishing?
Oh, what did you catch, Willa? Where's the fish? You have a nibble! A nibble!
Whoa! Big fish on! Big fish! Fish! You gotta yell, fish on!
You lost it! It's okay, it happens to your dad too. Well, Willa loves to play with wires. Well, you know, we're never short of content these days, eh?
I don't know, does this count as drama? So I pulled the first part of the harness out, and the problem is that the harness connectors themselves are a little bit melted, so I don't know. So I'm actually quite electrically impaired. I don't pretend to know much about electricity or electronics. But so I was looking online, there's great Facebook groups, especially for marine electronics. The reason this could have happened is both what I said earlier, which is the wire could have rubbed through on the engine, but also because of too much resistance in the wire due to, say, a fault in the control panel. So it could have been this control panel over here, which is quite rusty because it gets exposed to more salt water, and something could have happened in there. So I'm going to fuse the red wire, and then we should be good to go, even if the problem persists with the control panel. These are quite old. These are 16 years old as well. Projects like these are annoying because they don't add any value. They're not an upgrade. It's just repair of a stupid, potentially dangerous possible problem. Willa doesn't seem to care though. Willa makes things better. Puts things into perspective. It's just a wire. Life must go on. We must continue playing.
She's like, I got all the zap straps ready for you. Which one do you want? I've sorted them into piles, kind of like pickup sticks. I play that game a lot. Pick up sticks, pick up shoes, pick up Cheerios, pick up zap straps. This is a new one. Pretty much anything you leave lying around, you're gonna have to pick up. Pick up laundry pegs. Big fan of that one.
Well, I pulled all the harness out, and it smells really bad. It still smells burnt. You can see in different spots, like here, the black sheathing has just melted away. The black, it's just tape that's wrapped around it, but other parts, the red wire has completely melted, and all there is a couple strands left of the inside the wire, and such as here. So yeah, I'll have to do some research to see if it's affordable to buy a replacement harness or whether I just wire up my own. The results, let me show you. Bras.
Well, look at me.
Bras, 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 more bras. What do we got here? Bra and borderless bra without frame. More bras. More bras. Bras, push-up bras. Silicone inserts. All right, let's go to page number 2. Oh, we got some bra adverts down below. Page 2. Loading. Still loading.
I think all you're allowed to buy now on Lazada is bras.
Lazada, I do not need bras, I don't think. To be honest, like, the only problem is the red positive wire has melted its exterior. I think I can get by just replacing the red wire, the red positive wire, instead of having to buy a whole new harness. Anyways, good news, really. It hasn't really affected any of the other harnesses. The starboard harness is fine as well. So, I mean, a harness isn't really much more than just a bunch of wires color-coded that then are easily snapped together at the ends with these connectors. Should have this fixed by today.
In the end, most of the wires could be reused. The red positive wire was replaced with a new one, complete with a fuse at the very end, and we replaced the protective sheathing on the entire length. In the future, we'll be replacing the ignition panels to take care of any future problems.
Just like that, we're out of here. We're heading up to marina to kind of prep the boat to put it away. Maybe try and pull out the sails to dry them out. It's been raining a lot, so the key to putting your boat away is to dry everything out. Looks kind of like a squall might be coming, so that may not happen. But I would like to have the sails dry before we leave them.
But we have to make it through this thing at high tide, so we got to get going. This is the place where we basically hit zero. We timed it a little bit differently this time, and we're going to have at least 2 meters under the keel, I guarantee you. That's just not very much water under the keel.
How's the stress level, Ashley?
It's not as high as sometimes, but it's pretty bad. I don't know why we're still moving when it says zero. It's like, I actually feel like I just want Ben to drive.
It's going faster and faster, dude.
Reset. Oh, there's that one corner right.
Weird. Anyone know anything about Raymarine? We're having electrical gremlins. I think we just got hacked.
You are 100 billion-year-old Raymarine system when they plug something in. After the batteries were installed, I hit, we were driving through an anchorage, a busy anchorage, like with lots of mooring balls. And I hit auto, you know, because I wanted to grab Willa or do something. And the boat just like veered right, like hard right. And then it was trying to turn even though we were already fully turned. And then, so I put it in standby. I was like, oh my gosh, I did something wrong.
We're having more electrical gremlins. Anyone ever watch Gremlins? That was the one movie that scared the bejesus out of me when I was a young kid.
I wanna talk a little bit about what's going on in this room, because I think there are some fascinating ramifications here for the future. For example, that fellow over near the, I believe that's a common bat of the order Chiroptera.
Lizard crossing. They had this this big boat here very, very, very close to the finger, and we had to go between them, and we weren't sure we'd fit, so luckily there's enough staff here, they just moved it for us. We're going in now. What are you doing?
It's crazy, we're in Phuket, and it's been well over a year since COVID broke out, so a lot of the owners have put their boats on the hard or left them in the water and gone home. So when you're shopping right now in Phuket for parts, a lot of stuff is expired. I mean, this doesn't actually have an expiry date on it, but you can tell there's like rust on the bottom of it, rust on the top. And that's just a sign of the times here in Phuket, where everything on the boat store shelves is expired.
Sickening.
Liqui Moly, made in Germany. It's gotta be good. When we put our boat away, we actually do a lot, including doing oil changes, diesel preservative, running it with fresh water.
Another thing we've been doing is this is laundry, but this is purge, and some of it's just old stuff, coolers and things that people in Thailand will definitely find useful. We have completely cleared out the front berth, well, almost, and we're definitely on our way to making room for baby number 2. And it's pretty exciting. And it's coming together really quickly.
When you first set off and buy the boat, if you're like some people like us, you sell everything. It's so liberating because you get rid of all your possessions. And then over the course of the years, you start to accumulate possessions into your smaller home, which is your boat. And it gets stressful again. And we're at the stage now where we're forced to pare down again. And I don't even know what we're paring down, like extra sets of linens, old coolers, some boat spares that I've never used, tools. I'm going over all my tools. That was a bit of a stressful situation. I should have done this at the beginning of the refit, but now that we have another child coming and I'm losing my workshop room, I have to pare down or at least organize my tools.
Okay, let's be honest, you're not losing your workshop room, you're just losing half of your workshop room. And these are just the hand tools, not power tools.
Yeah, not even power tools. But what I want to get is like a roll-up thing, you know? You put all your wrenches in there, then you just roll it up. Stuff goes overboard when you work on a boat. There's actually a very, I don't know if it's a famous picture, but it's a funny picture where there's two old dudes working on the bow of a boat, and then they hung a umbrella upside down underneath whatever they're working on. It feels good. It feels good to have an empty boat. I don't think I've ever heard of anyone that is empowered feeling when their house is cluttered or full. But that's the default. Our human condition defaults to accumulating shit.
What do you like to save?
I don't like to save anything. Although I do like to...
You save all sorts of weird old things.
I do save weird old things like spear gun from Indonesia. I want to buy one of these tiny little longtail boats that they have here in Thailand and ship it home. Just like memories of my travels.
Okay, so he is making it out like he's perfect gentleman here who doesn't accumulate any shit.
Gentleman is right. Got that part right.
He is so far off. The other problem we have is we've collected toys like kites and paddleboards and all these things and bikes. And I don't know, it's awesome to have all this stuff, but then you bring all the baby gear on board, like the car seat and the stroller and the, I don't know, even though we have like the smallest ones we can buy, it's still a lot of stuff. Stroller, baby life jacket, Ben's hat, speaker. I gave up on the boat stereo this year. We just have been using the little speaker. Hi! You're awfully cute down there. What you doing? Good, bad, or ugly, we are hauling out a G&T boat gear tomorrow at 11 a.m. And so we gotta get things moving.